Hello, Gemini, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of May 16th through the 23rd. And during that time, we have a new moon that comes in on the 17th. And of course, that's a time for fresh starts and new beginning. Good time to learn a new skill or start any new projects or things that you wanted to work on, either inner or outer. Also, a good time to make new decisions. So keep that in mind. We then have the waxing crescent energy, and that is for the rest of the week. So as that moon energy starts to get a little bit bigger, right? That new moon is so dark, and then the waxing crescent, the light starting to grow on that moon. That's a time of heightened senses and a good time, just things very clear, and it's a good time to work on those things that we've just started. So it's you think about that, we're living up to our expectations and our intentions that we've set for ourselves, and it's just a good time to start to work on things. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Gemini. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't here on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is that prosperity lies ahead. Well, that is a nice message, I think. Let's see what the Gemini Collective has going on for the week. As I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder is that you learn something new this week. So that definitely goes along with this new moon energy. And this could be, if it's about prosperity, maybe you learn something about an investment or something, and you make an investment somewhere, or but it's about doing a deep dive into something. I feel like I'm learning something new every day. There's something just new that pops up. Oh, I didn't know that. But to really do a deep dive, I mean, for me, I really have to focus, kind of set some time aside, find that quiet time to read a book or really study. So if that's something you need to do, then maybe that's a good week with this moon energy to do it. So all right, let's get into this reading. Gemini, May 16th through the 23rd, prosperity lies ahead. Your present energy right now is you're feeling a little bit like an outsider. So, and why is that? Maybe this is what's going to prompt you to make some new investment. Many times I call this to the comparison is the thief of joy card. So sometimes if you're feeling like an outsider, there's been some comparing going on. So make sure it's not motivated by that. We're all on our own unique path. You might be trying to compare yourself to someone else and feeling like, well, why don't I have a boat and a vacation home? So, and why don't you? I guess is the question. If you're asking yourself that, don't let these feelings like you feel like an outsider. If that's important to you, then you turn it around and you say, well, why don't I? And let's make that happen. And maybe that's where this prosperity lies ahead. You make the right investment with the right goal set in mind, and you go get the thing. If it's a material thing, you go get it. Go do the thing you want to do. Everything's possible if you just work it out, right? Your current situation right now is the Fool card. So off on a new journey you go. And what's the Fool? He's just going to do it. Maybe if feeling like an outsider might push you into doing that. And maybe even the words that I'm saying might just motivate you to say, hey, she's right. I can do anything I want to do. I can set off on this new journey. So the Fool card, this is the week to have the Fool card in your reading, fresh start. So what is it? If it's about prosperity, what is that for you? Go find that thing. And if you need to be prosperous, make it happen. It's all about you and what you do. At the root of your situation is the death card. So maybe some sort of ending about just a way of thinking. I'm not even seeing this as, sometimes the death card is about actual death, but very rarely. In a tarot reading, death is about just a real big ending. We have the tens, of course, those are kind of ending cards as well. When it's the death card, it's just a little more extreme, right? It's a major arcana that, and again, this could just be a way of thinking. It's I always say when there's some sort of ending, it just makes the room for the new beginning. So maybe whatever is ending for you, it just opened up for this Fool card, and it could just be a way of thinking. It could be thinking, you know what, she's right. I'm not going to compare myself to other people. What is it that I want for myself? I'm not going to do that anymore. And you let go of that way, and you take off on a new journey that's just more optimistic and positive about believing that you can do whatever thing it is you set out to do, because you can. What is in your recent past here is the King of Wands. So you definitely have a grip on the things that drive you passionately, the things that light a fire under you. And you go into all of this kind of knowing that. So, I'm almost feeling that, why would you even let this get to you? But sometimes things do. Sometimes just words are said or you observe a thing or whatever, it just kind of bothers you a little bit. And it's bothering you because you have to, it's a reflection of your own insecurity, your own whatever. So that's the hole that you need to fill, is the thing that's inside you that would even allow yourself to feel like an outsider, right? What's allowing that? So that's kind of your big question. And that's something inside of you that you need to work through. All right, what's on your mind this week? Yeah, 10 of Pentacles, of course. So, prosperity lies ahead, and this is the card of long term wealth and security. I mean, there you go. If it's time to make some sort of investment, that's the reason why. And you would do this really for long term whatever. Again, it could be about some material need or something you're feeling, but you may just come up with some new idea this week. It is new moon week. There might just be an idea that pops into your head that you think, I don't, we're doing this the wrong way. Let's do it this way. I hope so. I hope you're prosperous with it as well. What is just ahead of you this week is the Queen of Pentacles. So, this is also going to involve some understanding of the Suit of Pentacles, some understanding about money, some understanding maybe about investments or the material world and how things work. I mean, this is really, I really do think this has something to do with some sort of investment or some sort of something that you're doing with your money here. So, again, it could be some new idea that comes to you. So, again, it's a good time to start new things and learn new things. So take that time to really do the research, know what you're getting yourself into. In your advice position here, Gemini, is the Page of Pentacles. So can we have any other pentacle? I mean, something has really happened here. There's been some sort of inner transformation for you to make this be a thing that's on your mind. You're involving your passions, you're involving, you're really thinking about money and pentacles this week. What is beyond your control this week is your ultimate happiness, which is awesome. I mean, that's one of the happiest cards in the deck. It's beyond your control. I mean, I think you're going to feel really good about whatever this thing that comes in for you. The pages are about kind of a new path on this. You're taking this new path with the Fool. You've got the King of Wands, which is, about passions, and the Queen there. I just think this is a really positive reading about getting over whatever this is, this feeling like an outsider when it comes to money. It's like you're like, I'm done. I'm not going to do that anymore. Again, it could be some sort of investment or something that you're doing a little differently. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Is the Knight of Pentacles. This reading is really cracking me up. And it's cracking me up also because my husband's a Gemini. So I'm going to have to make sure that he watches his reading. He watches them sometimes. Hi, honey. Sometimes he does not. He's not as into tarot as I am. But this one I'll make sure he watches. The Knight of Pentacles is about action. So is it your secret desire to take some sort of action, or are you learning all this and you're still kind of you're avoiding it? You're avoiding taking some sort of action. So that's a big question for you this week is, are you ready to make this move yet, or are you not? Are you trying to avoid making this move? And there's no right or wrong answer to that question. It's about asking the question and understanding the answer that you are giving, and understanding the why. Like, no, I'm not ready. I need to do more research. I need to study this thing more. Or, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm ready to go. Let's go. So if it's your secret desire or you're trying to avoid it, again, there's no right. Just understand the answer to the question. All right. And your outcome position is the Tower. So, oh no. Oh, well, there's a disruption for you. So maybe it's not quite time yet. Maybe you are very optimistic about this and it goes all wrong. So here's your warning flag to make sure that maybe you are doing the correct amount of research before you leap off onto that cliff, because there's something doesn't go quite right. There is a disruption here. There is some sort of delay. So, the Tower card is just, it's things kind of fall apart. So whatever this is that you're thinking about, maybe it isn't the week to do it. Let's see what's hidden from you at the bottom of the deck is the Hanged Man, which is a new perspective. So you're not quite there yet when it comes to learning something. That's maybe for next week. So, my advice on this is going to be yes, get the ball rolling, learn the thing, definitely have this change of attitude, but maybe it isn't quite the right time to say yes to this just yet. Maybe continue learning about it for a little bit. That's the advice I would give my husband. But prosperity does lie ahead. So don't think that it's the worst idea. It's almost like you need to think everything through to maybe kind of avoid this tower. Or you may be getting there and thinking, oh, this is great. And something just happens to kind of take you off the path. Um, and it just disrupts things a little bit. And maybe you get back on the path next week. So we'll see. But, your overall was that prosperity lies ahead. So I feel like you're on the right track with something here. Let's get you a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Gemini this week. Reflect on your truth. Okay, reflect on your truth, which is probably here. The real gold is not in the material things that any of us are seeking, but in the learning about things. You're beyond your control is that you're ultimately you're happy, you're living a really good life. You may take off on these new journeys or whatever, but reflect on the truth of that. And again, don't compare yourself to others. It's just not the best way to go about it. And if you are, again, it's like a mirror that's reflecting to you. Why are you doing that? And that's the big question, is that you ask yourself why and understand it. All right, let's get you a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Gemini. Abundance is the card. I mean, as I look over your reading, I don't see any cups. There's no emotion in here. There's no communication or intellect going on in here. We do have a wand, but we are major arcana and all about abundance and pentacles. So it's really on your mind this week. It's really on your mind. Okay. Being a thoughtful steward for the money you already have is the secret to creating more abundance. When you trust yourself to handle more, that's when more shows up. That's true. When you trust yourself to handle more, that's when more shows up. So ask yourself, do you trust yourself to handle more? More will show up. That's the way it works. I love this reading, Gemini. I really do. Except for this tower at the end, that was a little, but you're learning and growing. And I mean, if you just look at all the yellow, even in the other cards that came up here, there's so much yellow and brightness in this reading that I see it as being very, very positive. So I like that for you. And I want to wish you all the best with this reading. Good luck with it. And if you have any questions at all, or if you have comments about this, if there's something that I missed, you want to drop me a comment, please do that. I'd be happy to hear from you, or answer any questions that you have. Also, if you like my reading style, Gemini, hitting like and subscribe, that makes me feel very abundant. So I do appreciate your time being here. Thank you again for subscribing to my channel and being here with me today. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good luck with this, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.